Cheryl here from Valencia, Spain, and I first just want to start off by thanking all of you. The flooding here was tremendous. It was devastating. It was really a surprise. We didn't even realize it was happening because it didn't affect exactly where we are. So Valencia is a province in Spain, and the capital city is Valencia, where we live. The city center of Valencia was not impacted. Some of the outskirts were. There were, some people were lost there. There was some devastation with homes. I think people saw cars piled on top of each other. If you saw those in the news, the water just flooding. This riverbed has been an issue for a few hundred years. There's just been concern over it. But this was just tremendous. I mean, over 200 people have been lost so far. They're still looking for missing. And the number of people who reached out to us to check on us to make sure that we're okay was so heartwarming. You have no idea how much that meant to us. And we are still trying to figure out how best to support the community here. By the way, this is not the way we wanted people to learn where Valencia is, but you probably do now, now that it's been all over the news. But one of the things the flood did for us was really force me into how do I become more a part of this community, because I want to know what's going on. I want to support the people around me. And it made me realize I wasn't plugged into all the things. And yes, we'd only been here a week and 2 weeks, I believe, at the time. So I've given myself some grace, but also it really helped me get more plugged into everything that's happening and staying in tune with what's going on in the community. So that was helpful. By the way, today I'm going to actually get outside and show you some things in the area. I thought I'd show you the Turia Park, which is where the river used to be. And I'll talk more about that in a minute, but just want to give you a few updates before I jump into that. So one of the big challenges when you come to Spain is that they have a different eating schedule, which you don't think that's that complicated, but it is definitely interesting and impacts your social life and what's happening when. So, for example, they'll have like a small breakfast, 9-ish, somewhere in the morning, maybe earlier, but not very much. Could be a pastry. It could be, they don't eat a lot of eggs other than if you've heard of Spanish tortilla, that's something they have, but maybe that's in their snack that they would have like between 10 and 11:30. So that's kind of it. So they have a snack and a coffee. Then they have la comida, which we know too as lunch, which is usually around 2. And depending on the day of the week, it can be multiple hours. Here, it's usually kept to an hour during the week just because people are working. They're working with people in other countries, and they keep it to the hour. There isn't the long siesta as there used to be just because of that, even though, people do, it's a good time to take a nap. Why not? We met up with some people on Friday. They were introduced us by some other friends of ours, and it was a 3-hour lunch. We had some wine. We had 3 courses as starters, and then we had a meal and we had some dessert. It was phenomenal, and it's part of what makes the leaders, the trendsetters, I guess you could say, in the Mediterranean lifestyle, right? You hear about the Mediterranean diet, and it's really a lifestyle and not a diet. Yes, the food here is incredibly clean. There is not a lot of processed things, but the slowing down, eating, enjoying over time, and really just focused on the conversation is what really makes it phenomenal, in my opinion. So we were at this restaurant for 3 hours. They didn't turn over any tables, and they don't expect to. So they want people to sit and talk and enjoy, and that's the basis of their culture. So that's been really great. We try to do that. We'll do a breakfast. We'll do a lunch around 2, and then something small at night, because the big meal of the day is the middle one. So we've been getting used to that. Still not totally prepared all the time, but we're getting settled in, but really enjoying that. And then some of the new people we've met as well that have kind of showed us some new things. We've learned from them because they've all been here longer than we have. And we've done a ton of exploring, picking out neighborhoods. And we're pretty certain on the neighborhood we want to live in longer term. Once we get our visas and can really get more official about looking for some place to live for several months or a year. So anyway, that's what's going on with us. All is great here. We are safe. We've had no impact from the flood other than the grocery stores were slow to stock shelves because a lot of the warehouses were out where the flooding was, and obviously a lot of the food and water was going to those people who had nothing. So you got what you got, and it was okay. Another impact we had was some restaurants closed for dinner because a lot of them have, for La Comida, they have the menu of the day. So they select a few things to cook, to prepare, and you get to pick from those, but that's it. And then in the evening, they generally have more of an a la carte menu. And because they didn't know what food they were going to be getting, some restaurants closed for dinner. We actually had a dinner canceled on us, which we ended up then going to the lunch that day instead, which was fantastic. So just rolling with it, doing what we can to support the community and helping those who are in need. So I'm going to share with you some videos next. I was out in the Park Turia, which used to be the riverbed, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in one of my videos. But you'll hear it in my videos. So the first couple videos are vertical, so just bear with me on those. I figured it out, and we did order some great camera equipment, but the order was canceled. So hoping to get that soon and bring you some much better quality videos, but hope you enjoy this.
¿Alguien ahí?
It's the Opera House, and I'm about to cross the street to go over into the park. Turia, the park behind me, used to be a riverbed. There was a bad flood in 1957 that covered the entire city with mud. They had to bring in the army to help remove that, and at that point they decided to reroute the river around the city. So now it's a beautiful park. It's probably the width, maybe a little bit bigger than an American football stadium. And I'm going to show you some of the details around it, but it goes mostly around the city. If you think about a triangle, it's the top two lines. It doesn't have the bottom area. That's kind of where the highway is. But the park otherwise kind of goes around the city in sort of a in an angular shape. So anyway, let's go check it out. This is the Park Turia. Bike lanes, people walking, lots of people everywhere. And you'll see these bike and scooter lanes all over the city. They're generally red. They're not here in the park. But that's the first thing you need to learn as a newbie, is that you need to look before you step into those lanes, because you could get squashed and obviously hurt the rider as well. So yeah, there's people, there's bikes, there's dogs. It's just a gorgeous, gorgeous place. There's a bridge with the cars, everybody's going to work. Kids going to school. But just a beautiful, beautiful place. I love spending my mornings here. I don't know if you can see that over there, but that is Gulliver from Gulliver's Travels. It's a phenomenal park that has stairs and slides, and on the weekends it is packed with kids. There's all this screaming coming from here. They are having a ball, but it is a very cool concept. I'll see if I can get a little bit better video later, but it is super, super cool. Another cool visual of the Gulliver from the other side. I'll get you one with it when it's covered with kids. And there are several dog parks throughout this park. You see the puppers down there playing, doing their thing. But I've probably passed, this is probably the third one I've passed on my walk this morning. Quickly move out of the bike and scooter lane. some workouts happening over here. The other day, I saw a group of maybe, I guess probably 20, 25 people doing yoga. So there was a yoga class here. I've seen people with those doggies. Oh, that big Saint Bernard, how pretty. I saw somebody doing, I don't even know what you call it. It's where you have the rope or the silk fabric that hangs down and you do acrobatics. I'm ignorant on this, I'm just being honest. But someone had that hanging off a bridge, a couple of them, and they were doing that here in the park. So it seems like just about anything goes. So I've seen a lot of different things going on in this space. It's actually very utilitarian, I guess, but it's definitely a thoroughfare for traffic and people getting to different places. But one of the more beautiful areas in here is this great pond. I'm not sure it's supposed to be a reflecting pond, but it does reflect the buildings on the other side. And there's fountains in the middle, which aren't on right now. I'm not sure when they're on, but there's also this music palace up here. This is in addition to the opera house that is about 5 or 6 minute walk the other direction. And this up here is really kind of interesting. The other night we were walking through here and we saw a salsa class, about 25 people. It was actually kind of cool to see. And then here's that somewhat of a reflecting pool with these buildings on the other side. And this is 8:30 in the morning. People are, on their way to places, but it is still super, super peaceful. And this morning it's about 13 Celsius when I left the house. It's about 55 Fahrenheit. But people here, it's interesting, wear all sorts of different things depending on, well, I don't even know, honestly. Some people will be wearing short sleeves, others will be wearing parkas, there's shorts. The clothing is all over the place. I think I've heard that the Valencians dress for the season, not the weather. So it's kind of, you can kind of wear anything, which is very nice, especially when you're trying to fit in, that there isn't this really high bar to measure up to. So I really love this old bridge. You can see it goes all the way across over to the other side of what was the riverbed, now the park. And I just really appreciate the old stuff. There's a lot of the old towers here from when Valencia had a big wall around it. And so there's a few of those places you can go see those. This one here has another, there's some water down there, which you might be able to see underneath. But they do a really great job of keeping this park clean, making it available to everybody. There's always people out here, there's mowing or sweeping, just keeping it clean. All right, so now coming out of the city, having to watch out for everyone speeding by. Actually coming out into the city. About every block there's an entrance and an exit. See the opera house over here again. Sun coming up behind it. And then there's Valencia. The downtown is in that direction.
Thank you for coming on this beautiful morning walk with me. I really appreciate it and hope you had as much fun as I did. It's one of those outdoor gyms. I talked to people out there working out, getting some exercise. It's amazing. I see that every time I walk by.
I hope you appreciated that. As you can see, Park Turia is a great way to start the day, and we do our best to take advantage of that. And we will be coming back at you with more areas of Valencia as we continue to explore and try new things and just share with you what we're up to and what this place is all about. See you then.